company was chartered. We paid our first death claim. And our founding fathers actually took a loan using their own personal assets to make sure that they started in our history of keeping our promises. Number 2, remember the Dewey Dance from yesterday? 1874, 1876, Dr. Dewey fights off corporate raiders. Dr. Dewey had a passion for people, and he set the foundation clearly of who we are today. Number 3, this sort of brings out a little bit of my feminist personality here. 1894, we eliminated the extra premium cost on female customers. I never knew there was an extra premium cost for female customers. And this action was well before women got the right to vote in 1920, so think about that. Think about how far ahead of our time National Life really was. Number 4, again, a little more evidence of how forward-thinking National Life is. In 1899, National Life built a hydroelectric dam to generate our own electricity. This was new technology that no other companies were even thinking about at the time. And it continues today. Although our building was built around the 1960s, it is LEED certified, which is pretty remarkable when you think about that. Number 5, 1919, Ellen Putnam becomes a contracted agent in Rochester, New York. And there are very few women in the industry then. Unfortunately, there's still not a lot of us, but we're working on it. But she was the first woman to take a leadership role in an industry association. That association later became known as GAMA, which is very familiar to many of us. Number 6, 1928, National Life wins a U.S. Supreme Court case. It was the Revenue Act of 1921, and it was a big deal. Not only for us as a company, but for the industry. It returned $1.5 million to National Life. Now think about that in 1921, how much money that was. I mean, it's still a lot of money today. This was a very, very big win. Number 7. This is one of my favorites. I love this little fun fact. 1930s agent Ken Collins tells tales of world travelers. So he worked for 6 months as an agent for National Life, and then he would travel for 6 months. And he would come back and he would write about all of those travels. And he even said in his book that this was the best job that anyone could have because he could work 6 months and he could go travel 6 months. And it's legend, I think it's true, that the character of Indiana Jones was based upon Ken Collins. Number 8, 1937, living benefits are born. National Life creates the dream of living benefits in a 1938 ad by the Saturday Evening Post. Number 9, 1955, National Life stays in Vermont. This is a time when a lot of corporations were moving their companies to urban centers and corporate parks. But once again, where National Life stood out in a sea of sameness, we stayed in Montpelier, Vermont, where we remain today. Number 10, 1995, LSW joins the National Life family when we purchased the majority interest in LSW, which was the beginning of creating our dynamic culture of maple syrup and hot sauce. And in number 11, 2012, do good, be good, make good becomes official. These values formally became the driving force of our culture and our cause. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the passion behind that cause. He's the principal architect of Do Good, Be Good, and Make Good. You know, I've worked for 2 other companies in my career, and I can honestly say so far that I've never worked with a leader who is as involved and accessible as Mehran. He cares about people, he coaches, even when you don't want it, he coaches, and he really believes